They didn't put a power limit on it. They just gave it a PP limit, which is performance points.
Yeah.
The performance points came up like over 700, so I'm assuming the horsepower as well. It's got to be at least 900 horsepower.
Nice. Now, believe it or not, what Robert's talking about here is we're talking about some PlayStation 3.
You're filming?
Yeah, sure, we're filming. Of course, we're filming.
Sorry,
That's okay. That's okay. I enjoy the conversation. It's entertaining. All right, back to this. So what I'm going to adjust here, you can see here the amount of space that I have under the 2.2. So basically, I'm going to heat up the wax around this and just bring it down a tab and see how everything looks, and try it back in and see if Robert's okay with that. Now we could put this back on the articulator and do it on the articulator itself, but since it's not going to affect anything in terms of the bite, I'm going to do this here. Put my setup plate on here and basically I just pry this one down a bit, just like that. And the other thing I did here, I pushed it in, so I'm going to push it out so the incisal ledges are lining up again, and bring this one down. So make sure when you do this, you do it with relatively warm wax around it. Otherwise, the tooth is not going to move where you think you want it to go. It's going to find a cold spot somewhere in the wax up, and it's going to pivot around that spot, and you're going to have a hard time moving it to the new position. I'm going to put a little bit of wax here so I can recreate the contour of the gingival margin around the tooth. So while that's cooling, I'm just going to place my setup plate back on here, and just to show you that the position of the 2.2 is a little lower, closer to the plane of occlusion than it was before. So I think this is going to look a little nicer. A little bit of wax inside our Bunsen burner that I can use. So make sure the tooth is sealed up properly. I'm going to run a little bit of cold water on top of that so I can chill it rather quickly. And then I'll carve around the tooth. To clean up the margin a little bit. Now, regardless what we do today, even if you had a perfect try-in at this stage, you still want to go back and fine-tune your margins after the try-in. And we're going to do that at some point throughout the course. And I will show you the final wax up. Even though it looks pretty good now, I'm going to re-wax this case with much better detail before our processing, because a good wax up really produces a very realistic product. So I'm just going to clean that off a little bit. And then I'm just going to flame that over gently. And then we'll try it back in Robert's mouth.